Hey everybody, welcome back. This is where I do my Pennsic prep videos and stuff. We got less than 60 days till Pennsic, time to get cracking and getting ready. This video will be about acquiring a tent and knowing how much space to allot for your tent. This is not an official SCA, East Kingdom Mid-Realm, Ethelmark, Cooper's Lake Campground, or Pennsic staff video. Nothing official about this. I'm just a land agent with 20, 30 years experience. So hopefully I can help. If you have tips and ideas, also leave them in the comments because a lot of people have been getting help from this. Also, if you like this stuff, please like and subscribe because this is what I do to save my sanity. Yeah, as if I had sanity. Look what I do. Nope. But it really is appreciated. It doesn't cost you anything, so I appreciate it. Thank you. This one is about how to recognize what kind of tent you want for Pennsic and things to consider when getting a tent. First thing you need to know is you don't have to have a period pavilion. They're nice. It's nice to have a nice tent. But period pavilions are expensive. They tend to be more work to put up and take down. They take more care at times. They're glorious. They are fantastic. Once they're up, they're great. I have one. I love it. But it is a pain in the butt, and they are expensive. And I did not pay anywhere near full price for mine. I got really, really lucky on a used one. And but I did many years of Pennsic with just the standard modern tent. My first Pennsic was in a mountain mushroom, land pimple, whatever you want to call it. 3-man tent. Yeah, I don't want to be that close with 2 other men. Just saying. But it's like 3 foot tall, fits in a backpack kind of thing. That's what I did my first Pennsic in. And I don't part of me says you should all start with that just so you can suffer as I did. But realistically, you don't have to. Especially now with modern tents being significantly cheaper than they were back then and significantly better engineered. Why suffer unneededly? Pennsic can throw stuff at you. You don't need to increase it that much. So a modern tent is fine. You're going to want to measure your tent. First off, when picking a tent, when it says 3-man tent, 5-man tent, understand this is like an old Boy Scout measurement or military measurement or something like that of how many bodies you can lay in the tent. Take you and a small sleeping bag, lay it down, put somebody else and somebody else, not you and your backpack, not you and your boots, just you. Your backpack with your food is wrapped in a plastic bag tied to a tree somewhere. That's how the Boy Scouts do it. They don't expect you to have your gear in your tent. Pennsic, you got a wardrobe with you. You got garb to take. So a 3-man tent is a 1-person tent at Pennsic, realistically, at best. Most people would consider it a auxiliary cupboard for the kitchen to put your food in. So yeah. Another interesting measurement they're using now is how many queen-size mattresses you can fit in there, because a lot of people now are doing what we do, and they will just get an air mattress and put it in there. Can I put 2 air mattresses in there, or can I only put 1? That's a more useful measurement for us as far as purchasing the tent is concerned, so you know how much room you have in your tent. But your land agent doesn't care what you have in your tent. Also, if you find something that gives you square footage, because you got 250 square feet for your tent at Pennsic, no, you don't. First off, if the tent does give you a square footage thing, it's going to be on the inside because they figure you want to know how much space you can put in there, not where you're physically putting it. And your land agent doesn't care what you have in your tent. They only care about where your tent is going. And as such, you have 250 square feet or 175 square feet if your camp is suffering from compression. Too many people in the camp, you get less space. But understand that 250 square feet also includes all the space around your tent for the tent stakes and stuff like that, the walkway from your tent to the front gate, your common area, your shower, your kitchen, everything combined, you're donating whatever space you don't put your tent in as part of the camp space. Some of the bigger camps, if you go to Pennsic and you see some of these camps where they have like huge common areas where they hold big parties and stuff like that, there are two ways they get that space. One is some of them will ghost reg people. Do not ghost reg people. If your land agent hasn't done it and you think, oh, I'll get extra space, one, you could put your camp in compression by adding too many people, which means you get less space. Two, you're not supposed to do it at all. And if the Coopers get mad at you and go, well, you're ghost regging, you could get in trouble. Yeah, you could. And three, if you don't have that space, you could get the whole group moved from the block. So don't ghost reg people. Certainly not without talking to your land agent and stuff like that. It's a sticky situation. The other way, these camps completely legally get all that space for that great big common area. Sometimes it's uncampable space. If you see some of these groups that have big parties and stuff and visit them when it's raining and you see just a bog in the middle of their camp, it's because they can't put a tent there anyway. So that's how they get away with it. And the other one is they put people in apartments. They will literally put up, some of them will put up 10 by 10 pop-ups and go, that's your tent. That's your tent. And they'll stack them. And all the leftover space goes to the common area because their goal, their game plan for Pennsic is the common area. And the smaller the living area is, the bigger the common area can be. In this situation, talk to your land agent. All of this, sooner or later, is going to get to talk to your land agent. But this video is about how to give your land agent as much information as possible. So we've got it. You don't need a period tent. You don't need all the extra space. The extra space will get used. You ideally want to measure your tent because inside measurements don't matter. Set up your tent. Measure, draw a square around your tent. If your tent's round, draw a square around your tent. Sorry, guys. Modern tents, by the way, there was a fad with modern tents where there were like little alcoves and they were shaped like V's and weird shapes because modern tent companies understand that people camping in the wilderness are trying to get away from these square confines of modern life. They didn't take into consideration Pennsic or any sort of festival, really. Draw a square around your tent. This makes some of these tents very awkward. And remember, like your square footage, all the squares in Tetris are a 4x4 square, just shaped different. That's what your land agent is doing. So keep it as simple as possible. No, we don't want like, oh, my tent goes this way and then this way and we can use, no, just draw a square around your tent. Measure your tent from corner to corner, corner to corner. Make sure it's square. And then note where the door on your tent is. If your tent is 10 foot by 12 foot with the doors on the narrow side, and your camp master thinks, or your land agent thinks that the door is on the wide side, you could end up with your doors facing into other people's tents or the shower or the wall, sheet wall or something, where you kind of have to shimmy on past to get in your tent. So make sure when you tell your land agent or your camp master where the door is on your tent, but measure a square around your tent. This includes any stakes. Let your camp master know that it's this with the ropes. Some camps will overlap their ropes. Some camps will not. It used to be forbidden. Do not overlap your ropes. The rules have sort of fudged on this since then, but it's not a good idea to overlap ropes. If there is an emergency or something goes on, you set a trap for anyone trying to get through that area. Yes, it could be the back of the camp where Oh, well, that's the back of the camp. No one's going to go to the back of those tents. Let's say, God forbid, there's a fire in the camp behind you and you're holding a fire extinguisher, but between you and it are all these crisscross ropes. That's like a bad video game, man. You gotta like jump an Assassin's Creed thing, or you throw the fire extinguisher over the tent and hope someone catches it. Um, so yeah, crossing ropes not a great idea. Try to avoid it. But let your camp master know your outline of your tent. I used to go, I used to take this, I used to do the thing with the graph paper. You'll hear camp masters talking about, oh, I take the graph paper and I do this. I don't do that anymore. The problem with the graph paper is it does not take into consideration uncampable land. It does not take into consideration trees or tree roots or anything like that. Things that only show up when you get there and can change from year to year. Okay, the tree's probably not going to change year to year, thankfully. But, between last year and this year, somebody from the Jeep Jamboree drove through and there's a 2-foot rut in the middle of your camp. That wasn't there last year. What I do after I stopped with the graph paper is I would go out there with the tape measure, and because we measured the camps anyway, and literally with some contractors twining tent stakes and go boom, 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 boom. That's your space. Put your tent there. So the more information you can give your land agent about the size and shape of your tent, the better. As far as tents is concerned, since you can get anything you want, honestly, they make easy ups that are, pop ups that they use for festivals and stuff like that. Some of them come in colors, some of them come decorated, some of them come where you can put a tent inside it, which is amazing. I never used one of these. I've used the pop up. I've slept in a pop up plenty of times, but I've never used the one where it's actually a purpose built tent inside. So yeah, time to start breaking out the tents, measuring them. If you already have a tent, break it out, measure it, make sure it's still good, make sure everything's functional. East Kingdom Southern Region War Camp is coming up. That's a great time to do it. War camps are usually the time to check out your equipment. And hopefully I'll see you guys at war. Enjoy yourselves, be safe, grab yourself a good tent, be dry. See you at war.